without a doubt, the vastly superior version of this movie you really need to watch. Daredevil, the director's cut, released exactly 1 year after the theatrical version. I choose to review this version first because this is the superior version of Daredevil you need to see. So basically the plot is about Matt Murdock. He is a blind lawyer of Hell's Kitchen by day, and at night he becomes Daredevil. Pretty sweet. So we also get Matt Murdock's origin story of how he became Daredevil, just like we did in the theatrical cut, but it is set maybe 5, 10, or 15 minutes in full swing. It's not like a 5 or 10 minute prologue like it was in the theatrical cut. They actually put in stuff that actually make his origin story whole. So yes, that's better. This cut of the movie also adds 30 extra minutes of footage back into the film, which makes the film a complete film. It doesn't seem all butchered and cut up and stuff is not missing. Stuff is missing. Everything seems to be put back in place in here. And that's the version I like, okay? Because that's the version that makes the most sense, okay? Because the theatrical cut, when you look at it, it doesn't make sense much. When you watch this version, you're going to see how it doesn't make sense with that original cut, okay? I also like the cut because they put the R rating in here. As you know, the theatrical version was PG-13. This puts in some more language, music that has language in it, maybe a little bit more blood, maybe. It's roughly almost the same movie, but we got a new subplot. We have a subplot involving a criminal named Jackson, Coolio, that Matt Murdock and, of course, Foggy Nelson has to take his case. That's another thing this cut does right. Matt Murdock actually has a fucking court case, okay? Now, he has court cases in the theatrical cut, but it kind of ends, and we don't really see him in court anymore. In this cut, not only do we see him have something to do, we also see the fact that something is forming before he actually gets to that case. Because a few nights before that, he heard a scream of a girl, but he figured it was too late for her. This is after he fought crime for the first time. Well, we actually see him fight crime for the first time, and he goes back into his water chamber. But before he lays down, he hears that, and he looks to his right, and you can see the lady that gets killed, basically. But he figures it's already too late for her, so he lays back down. In the theatrical cut, after he fights crime, he just lays back down in the chamber, and that's it. And you see him going back to sleep. So yeah, Coolio's case represents what happened to this lady, and he has to figure out if Coolio shot her to death or if she was murdered by somebody else, because Coolio is a criminal, so that doesn't look good for him anyways. But of course, Matt Murdock hears his heartbeat and decides that he's telling the truth and decides to take his case, which is awesome, okay? And you get this whole other, like, detective side of Matt Murdock throughout this movie, I forgot the name of it. We gotta get the information from people, but he does that. Even go as far as to drive a car while he's blind, even though he could probably get away with it. He plays with the blind spot a lot, and it works, and it's awesome. And of course, he has to fight Bullseye, sent by the Kingpin. The late Michael Clarke Duncan plays Kingpin, of course. It was awesome. That was an awesome choice to play Kingpin. I never thought anybody was big enough to play Kingpin. Then Michael Clarke Duncan hits the scene. I'm like, holy shit, that works. That fucking works. That dude was ripped in this movie, by the way. It's fucking awesome. But, yeah. A very full, complete movie. Great acting all around, especially from Jon Favreau, Ben Affleck. Everybody gives Ben Affleck a lot of shit for this movie. If you saw the director's cut, if the director's cut was released a year ago, I don't think it will be a bunch of backlash, because the director's cut doesn't have that stupid love triangle going on. Of course, yeah, they hang out, they kiss, that's it. They don't fuck like they do in the theatrical cut. They cut that shit out. That was much more pleasant, because remember that scene where they kissed on the rooftop? By the way, isn't it kind of ironic? She wears her Elektra outfit colors in that scene, but she doesn't wear the colors when she gets ready to fight crime. I'm just saying, Fox. Just saying. But anyway, in that scene, right after he kissed, he hears somebody's getting their ass kicked, and he tries to leave, but she says, "No, stay with me." She doesn't say that in this movie. That line only gets said twice in this cut, both by Matt Murdock. So that's the only thing in this movie that doesn't make any sense, because Elektra doesn't say it in this cut as she does in the original. So, but I'd rather it not one thing not make sense than the entire movie to be fucked up. So that's a minor nitpick. But after in this cut, she doesn't stop him. He leaves, and the version. There's a scene in here that was like maybe 10 or 20 minutes later on in the theatrical cut, where he sees this guy getting his ass kicked, and he goes into the guy's apartment and kicks his ass, and he sees this boy, and the boy is scared, and he tells the boy, "I'm not the bad guy." That is directly after he leaves Elektra on that rooftop in this cut. That's a lot better. Granted, that guy would have probably been dead by now by the time he got in the costume, but I'm not nitpicking. I can't afford to nitpick. I've seen that theatrical cut so many fucking times since 2003. It's finally awesome to see a cut that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. And this movie does that. And goddamn, Colin Farrell is extremely under-fucking rated in this movie. I can't tell you how underrated Colin Farrell is in this cut. I mean, in this movie, anyways. But, yeah. I love the Daredevil director's cut. Granted, I don't really care for Jennifer Garner in this movie. Her eyes are extremely green in this movie. I never noticed that before. It's kind of awesome, kind of hot. But anyway, I'm going to give this cut of Daredevil a B+. Let me know what you guys think about the director's cut of Daredevil down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And if you did see the director's cut, which one do you like more? This cut or the theatrical cut? Because some people do like the theatrical cut. I might do the theatrical cut this year, or I might wait and save that for next year. I'm not sure yet. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch y'all when I do Elektra's director's cut.